Hello there, my dear. It's LaShanda Henry here, aka Sister Sense. Welcome. I am here so that I can share some smart things that you can do to work on your reach, your routines, and your revenue. That's online marketing that you would like to do with, like I always say, strategy and intention. So, hello, guys. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm about to share this out, so feel free to do the same because, of course, sharing is caring. And really what I want to do today is to talk to you about two things in particular because it's Two Tip Tuesday for me anyway. I want to talk to you about, number one, how to stop procrastinating, and number two, how to start profiting. So essentially what we're going to do is dive into two tips for each of these. And hopefully you guys are looking forward to the conversation I've got for you today. So of course, feel free to, again, share this out, tag somebody who needs to hear this, and let me know who you are. You can say, hey. Don't forget, if you're catching me on the replay side, drop into the comment box, hashtag replays rock. And of course, turn on those alerts and notifications so that you can see when I'm jumping on here live so you can check in with me. All righty, so let's dive into Two Tip Tuesday. And first thing that I want to do is talk to you about procrastination. Right? It's one of those things that make you roll your eyes like, oh, I hate that word, right? But we all struggle with it at some point. And in order for you to move forward in your business, you've got to make sure that you don't find yourself overthinking, underperforming, and procrastinating, especially if you find that you've got that perfectionist bug. I mean, any perfectionist in the building or analysis paralysis entrepreneurs where you overanalyzed everything and find yourself doing very little? If that's you, okay, we've got some talking to do. First thing that I want to do is to talk to you about quickly brain dumping a list, okay? So what I want you to do is just think about really quickly the last time, whether it be this morning, today, yesterday, the last time you said, oh, I got to do ... right? I want you to just think about that. Drop into the comment box or write down somewhere so that you're aware of the times that you've said, I've got to ... okay? So could be, oh man, I got to send out that email. Oh gosh, I got to finish that. Oh man, I got this thing that I said, oh, ... right? A lot of times there are things that we should be doing in our business and they come into our mind, and as quickly as they come in through one ear, they go out the other, right? Because we go, oh, I got to do ... but then other things come up, right? One of my favorite acronyms, PYP, is to pick your priorities. And sometimes even though we want to prioritize the things that we need to get done in our business, other things kind of bump them out. So I want you to do this really quick brain dump activity and just to simply identify the last times you said, oh man, I've got to do ... whether it be today, yesterday, the last few days, and make note of those things, okay? What's interesting is, for me, I always like to talk about things that happen in my reality, right? And right now I have the upcoming Back to Business virtual conference. Super excited about that in October. And I've got some speakers already confirmed and ready to go. I'm super excited. And then I've got a few people that I'm just like, I'm waiting, right? I'm waiting for follow-ups. But here's the reality of the situation. I've been saying to myself, oh man, I've got to follow up with ... right? And then again, other things come into play. And sometimes it's because we're like, I have to, make sure that I spend like 15, 20, 30 minutes writing this detail thing, or I got to go and look for these emails. I got to do this, I got to do that. And you start to give yourself a laundry list of things that you've got to do to the point where you don't do anything. You ever feel that? You're like, I've got to do this. I've got to follow up with that person. I've got to start this or finish that. But then you start to overthink the process to the point where you're like, okay, I'll do it later, right? So literally I said, look, one of my favorite strategies is part of my Stop Procrastinating 28-day challenge. I sat down and I really documented things that helped me and things that I've taught other clients when it comes to really stop procrastinating. And again, you can take a look at this SPC, Stop Procrastinating Challenge, over at sistersense.com/SPC. That's just a side note. But one of the things that I love in that challenge is the knockout list, number one. And number two, the concept of WBT, work in background tasks. So some people, they'll immediately follow up with you, and other people, they may take a day or two because they gotta have to process stuff. So instead of me going another day, man, I've got to follow up with these people, I said, you know what? I'm just gonna take 30 minutes to an hour to carve out a little mini time block, create a knockout list of people I want to check in with, and send them that information. So even if they don't immediately respond to me, I'm getting the ball rolling. These are things that are working in the background. And funny enough, there were a few people who followed up with me yesterday, and I saw a few emails this morning, and I was like, good, right? Work in background tasks, WBT. I want you to think about that. Number two, what are some things that you can do on a knockout list, okay? So this is important for you guys. Feel free to share this out because, of course, sharing is caring. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Turquoise Blue. Good morning, Anissa. Good morning. Cindy says, I've got to complete work people requested. Okay, that's a big one, right? So you want to think about a few things that you've got to get done, number one. And then number two, how are you going to knock this stuff out? So I'm a service professional, probably like you, Cindy. And yesterday, Wednesday, I carved out time to work on client projects, right? I have what I call 3-hour time blocks. So I carved out some time to do just that. So creating special days when you do special things for clients might be something that could possibly help you. And by the way, I talk about more of that. I'm going to actually go into, this is my 3-hour workday routine book here. And creating special days is something that I talk about, and I'll go into this book in just a second here. But one of the things that I want to recommend you guys do today is to simply just brain dump a few things that you say, I've got to do ... Complete that statement, and then carve out at least 30 minutes to an hour to create and complete your knockout list, okay? I did that early this morning from about 7:30 to 8:30. I was sending out a few emails, just kind of knock that out. And then I said, okay, it's time to do my live stream for today. Boop, boop, boop. I'm ready to go. Funny enough, one of the amazing ladypreneurs that I reached out to, she messaged me back just before I was about to hit live. And so I made sure that I could check in with her because, again, these are WBT, work in background tasks, so that you can really move forward and get the ball rolling, okay? So I want you to think about that. Let me think about a few things that I've done that might inspire you. Like I said, number one, just kind of my Back to Business virtual conference, checking in with speakers. Number two, last week I had an amazing, I cannot say that word enough. I had an amazing time leading what I call my Pick 3 project. I do that once a year, and quite a few ladies said, yay, they're all in. So last week I reached out to them and I gave them their first freebie. Then on Friday, I shipped out all their fast action goodies. So I can't wait for my Pick 3 ladies to get those goodies in the mail. And then I'm checking in with email so I can make sure that everybody gets the things that they've selected. I started that last week and I'm continuing that this week because I got a few people to check in with, right? So these are my knockout lists when I think about whether it be things that I have to ship out, people that I have to talk to, things that I need to do in the business to get the ball rolling. And I want you to be able to identify some of those things too. And this says, thank you, LaShanda, for my gifts. You're so very welcome. I cannot wait to see you guys get your gifts in the mail, by the way. So when you grab them, take pictures. Make sure you take pictures, Anissa, and send it to me because I'm super, super excited about the Pick 3 experience this year. And of course, there were ladies who participated in Pick 3, and I also sent out stuff for the ladies who early registered for my October and January weekend workshops. I sent out a few gifts to you guys as well. So make sure that you guys take photos and let me see you're good once you get it, right? So checking in with your audience is certainly something that you need to do. Who do you need to check in with this week, okay? So as part of the first part of this conversation on how to stop procrastinating and start profiting, the first thing that I want you to do is to brain dump a short list of things that you can do within 30 minutes to an hour, and you want to complete the statement, right? I've got to ... right? You wake up in the morning, you go, oh shoot, right? What were those things that you said you got to do? Knock them out so you can feel accomplished. You want to make sure that you are waking up determined and going to bed satisfied because you've done something today that your future self will thank you for. Okay, so that's the first part of the conversation. And as I'm looking in here, just feel free to drop in, right? Yes, love my gifts too. Awesome. Yay. Super excited to see those photos from you guys. The next thing that I want you to do is you're working through your brain dump list of things that you've got to do. Feel free to share some of those things with us here, okay? Whether you're watching live or via the replay, that's number one. Number two, I want you to complete another statement. I feel ... When it comes to the things that you say you've got to do, I want you to become a little bit more self-aware today. I want you to think about when it comes to those things that you've been telling yourself for the last days or weeks or months that I really got to ... and you've been procrastinating. I want you to really just consciously identify something that you feel with respect to that. I mentioned to you guys, I had a similar conversation about something around procrastination and self-awareness last week. And I mentioned going to a recent meetup here in Greenville, North Carolina. And there was one of the participants in the meetup. He said, you know what? I wanted to go back to school. And I kept telling myself I didn't have time to, fill out the application, to do this, to do that. I was too busy. But in actuality, I felt scared. I felt like I was not going to get into school. And that's really why I was procrastinating. That's really why I was holding myself back. I filled out the application. I'm approved. Now I'm back in school. I'm getting my master's degree. And I think he's getting it in adult education, which is totally awesome, right? Because sometimes we're procrastinating and we're holding ourselves back and we're giving ourselves 101 reasons as to why we're not doing the thing, when in reality, we are feeling a certain way that's causing us to hesitate, that's causing us to feel scared, right? So I want you to think about that, and I want you to identify when you think about some things that you say you want to do and you haven't quite done that yet, and in all honesty, you're procrastinating. I want you to complete the statement, I feel ... How do you feel? Feel free to drop it in here. I'm going to be honest with you. One of the things I tell you guys to do is to go out there and get those no's. It's easier said than done. It's something that I often have to remind myself to do. And honestly, when it comes to connecting to people who I don't know, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll send out that email tomorrow. I'll message them next week because it's like, right? I've been doing this for almost 20 years. There are days where I feel old. I feel dated. I feel irrelevant. I feel like, why even bother? They're going to be like, who the hell are you? I don't know you. Come on, real talk. There are days that I feel like that. There are days that I feel discouraged. Oh, okay, I sent out that email. Okay, they didn't get it, or they haven't responded yet. Maybe they don't like me. Maybe they're ignoring me. Maybe they don't want to work with me. Oh, I'm being honest. I've been doing this for almost 2 decades now, and there are times when it's not about being busy, or it's not about this is too hard, or it's going to take too much time to do. It's about how I feel. And sometimes I feel a certain way that causes me to procrastinate. So I want you to identify some of those things that you say you want to do as Prin. So here she is. I don't know. How did you get this on? How? Do you see this? Do you see? How did you get my shirt on? Why? Why are you rolling in my stuff? Thank you, ma'am. You're just like the cutest little thing ever. I love you. I love you to pieces. I love you to pieces. Okay, so I want you to, and yesterday was International Dog Day, and I didn't put up a picture of you, Mama. I didn't put up a picture of you. Mwah. I want you to, okay, oh my God. One kiss and you go crazy. I want you to think about, y'all. I want you to think about how you feel, and feel free to drop that into the comment box for me. Okay. So, okay. I've got the Stop Procrastinating Challenge. Not sure if you've seen it or you've tried it, but you can learn more about it and actually start today. It starts when you start. It's over at sistersense.com/SPC, which stands for Stop Procrastinating Challenge. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to talk to you about a few of the procrastinating personalities that exist inside of SPC. And this is from a guide that I created. It's called How to Beat Procrastination. Now, when I do the Stop Procrastinating Challenge, essentially what I do is identify different types of personas of people who are feeling a certain way. And because of those very, very strong feelings, they're holding themselves back and they're procrastinating. I'm going to share maybe one or two of them with you. And again, you can go through all of them inside of the Stop Procrastinating Challenge. Now, are you like Stuck Stella? Let's talk about Stuck Stella. Despite her deep desire to be proactive and get things done, Stella oftentimes finds herself stuck because she's overwhelmed by all the things that she must do. Has this ever happened to you? In your mind, you start mapping out plans for everything you want to do, but at some point you'll look up and realize you've done nothing or very little at all. How does that happen? Where did the time go? Where did you go wrong? Like Stella, it's possible that you are a pro at psyching yourself out. Anybody start overthinking and underperforming because you psych yourself out of things that you need to do? Do you feel like Stuck Stella? It's possible that you are a pro at psyching yourself out. Do you know what that means? To psych yourself out is to undermine your confidence, nervously second guess your ability to do something you were once actually eager to do. How does this play out for you? For Stella, usually after spending a lot of time thinking about all the things that she must do, Stuck Stella finds herself exhausted and completely overwhelmed just by the thought of it all. You haven't even done it yet, but you're exhausted because you've just been overthinking all the things that you need to do, right? What Stuck Stella fails to understand is that you don't have to do it all. You just have to do something. The best way to start is to start. So you can start with one super simple task. I call that SST, a super simple task. So if you're a Stuck Stella, is there one SST that you can do to actually move forward, right? Now, my suggestion is to work your way up to your to-do list in baby steps. Start with one super simple task that you can complete in 5, 10, or at most 15 minutes. Knocking a few SSTs off of your to-do list will lighten the load and provide you with a feeling of satisfaction from getting things done. This feeling of accomplishment is exactly the kind of confidence builder you need to go from psyched out to super psyched about tackling more tasks on your to-do list. Confronting your inner Stuck Stella is something you need to do if tackling your to-do list is a daily challenge for you. And it's certainly something we can do together as part of the 28-day Stop Procrastinating Challenge, especially if you are ready to stop being a pro at procrastination and start becoming a more productive person. Now, again, if you want to learn more about the Stop Procrastinating Challenge, you can go over to sistersense.com/SPC, which stands for Stop Procrastinating Challenge. And this guide right here that says How to Beat Procrastination. I don't know if you can see it because the ring light is super bright. This digital guide on how to beat procrastination is actually one of the guides that you'll find inside of my Girl Boss book club. Right now it's 20 for 20. You're going to get 20 digital downloads, 10 ebooks and 10 guides. This one is a guide on how to stop procrastinating. It's inside of that, which is over at sistersense.com/GBBC, which stands for Girl Boss Book Club. Any Stuck Stellas in the building? Any Stuck Stellas? I'm going to share, let's see. I'm going to see if I can share maybe 2 more of these with you. I love all of these, so it's so hard to pick. The 28-day Stop Procrastinating Challenge goes through all of these procrastinating personalities so you can really get self-aware and identify how you feel and what's holding you back. Because sometimes what we say is holding us back, that's not really the thing. So here's another one, Fearful Freda. Fearful Freda. Like a character straight out of Dr. Seuss, Fearful Freda ferociously frets to the point where she forgets the very things she set out to do. Do you have a fearful Freda living inside of you? Fearful Freda is oftentimes like a young bird that needs to leave the nest. Filled with feelings of anxiousness, she cries out, "But what if I fall?" And to that, I reply, "Oh, my dear Freda, what if you fly?" You see, there's so many of us out there who are in a space where, even though, let's be clear, you want to move forward, you're full of fear and you're afraid to move forward, and you need to be able to address those fears before you can actually take action, right? Looking through her eyes, Fearful Freda fails to see the best outcome as a possibility because in her reality, everything is destined to go wrong. The reason Freda puts things off for so long is because she finds herself running on that what if wheel for far too long. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if they're mad at me? What if they want, let me tell you something, real talk. I remember when I started my business as a web designer, right? I didn't want to charge a lot. I barely charged $100 for my web services because I said, what if I charge too much and they don't like it and they want a refund? What if I get sued? Like all this stuff because I was anxious and really afraid of putting myself out there. Right? We cannot work from a place of fear. We cannot work from a place of negativity. And I learned how to baby step my way from barely charging $100 to easily charging $1,000, $10,000. I'm going to be honest with you. There was somebody who reached out to me last week, said, LaShanda, I want to work with you. What's the budget? I took a look. I said, this would be about $5,000. They sent me a little bit more detail. And I was like, you know what? This is not really a good fit for me. And I declined the project. A $5,000 project. I'm in a position to do that, to decline the project and set my own rules. And I'm going to talk about rules in just a minute when I go into the 3-hour workday book. The reality is it that in order for you to fight the fear, you got to understand what FEAR means. FEAR can mean one of two things. Either you can forget everything and run, or you can face everything and rise. And I can tell you, over the last 20 years, I've done everything that I could possibly do to face every fear inside of me and rise, to power through to get to this sister girl right here, who can charge $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 and more with confidence, right? But you got to understand, do you have a fearful Freda inside of you, and what are you afraid of? So remember, I said to you guys, make sure that you identify how you feel. When you think about some of the things that you need to do right now that you've not done because you've been procrastinating, subconsciously something is going on. Complete the statement, I feel ... so we can get to the heart of the situation. So 9 times out of 10, right? 9 times out of 10. No, did I skip something? I did. Let's see. The reason Fearful Freda puts off for so long is because she finds herself running on that what if wheel for far too long. What if this bad thing happens? What if I make this mistake? There's too much at stake. What if they say this or they think that? What if I lose? What if I fail? What if I can't go back? 9 times out of 10, Freda will dismiss and wear down the best of the best optimists, because even the slightest challenge exists, she will find it in the midst of it all. So what I'm saying here is that 9 times out of 10, you can be super, super optimistic, but when you're a fearful Freda, you're going to fight every form of optimism. You're going to find negativity. You're going to find how things are going to go wrong. And if you look for that, you will find it. 9 times out of 10, if you're looking for a negative thing, if you're looking for something to go wrong, if you're looking for I told you it wouldn't work, you're going to find it, right? Like Freda, it's easy to fall victim to fear if you are inclined to only hear the negative voices within. It's impossible to win if your approach to fear is always to forget everything and run. Feelings of fear make everything unfun. In order to fight the fear rather than run, you must face everything and rise. Your progress can only be realized after you face your fears in Your progress can only be realized after you face your fears in the eyes of anxiety. In the eyes of anxiety, you have to be able to understand where you're feeling anxious so that you can address those feelings. Okay? So take some time to think about what scares you in relation to the things that you want to accomplish in life. Are those scary thoughts rooted in truth, or are they devilish distractions trying to deter you from taking action? Start facing your fears by working on one every day, right? Working on one every day. Everyday courage. Try to do one thing each day that scares you. It can be something small like a new hairstyle or making a slightly uncomfortable call. In these little moments, you'll reach small wins that prove those big fears weren't so scary at all. Okay? So working on fighting your fears is something that I want you to do. Number one, any stuck Stellas in the building. Number two, any fearful Fredas in the building. Number three, this is a deep one. This one, I don't know. I don't know if I should do Denise or Simone. Thank you for the thumbs up and the hearts, by the way. Feel free to share this out because sharing is caring. Okay. So let's talk about shame on me, Sheila. And again, I want you guys to identify how you're feeling right now and feel free to, share this out or drop how you're feeling in the comment box. Shame on me, Sheila. Sheila often feels like her life is in shambles. She quietly scrambles to find the courage to do things she knows she can, or she knows she has been called to do. Practically every day, Sheila struggles through feelings of shame, deeply rooted within her and possibly you too. Every time Sheila tries to work up the nerve to do something new, she loses her nerve after listening to the whispers, internal voices that bring up painful feelings of humiliation, embarrassment, and regret. Shame on me, Sheila. Think about this. How many times do you want to do something? You want to speak somewhere. You want to put something out there, but you go, shame on me for wanting to do that. When you think about feelings of regret, when you think about anxiety because you let the past dictate your future. Whoever feels like a shame on me, Sheila, right now, or if you've felt that way before, when you feel shame because you're like, how dare I try to teach people? How dare I try to encourage people? How dare I try to put this thing out there when I feel like a hot mess back here? How dare me? Anybody ever feel like a shame on me, Sheila? Sheila can't forget the things that she's done wrong or wrong things that have been done to her. She finds herself thinking, shame on me for wanting different. My life will never change. I can never change. Shame on me for wanting to help people when clearly for a long time I couldn't even help me and mine. Shame on me for thinking I could even truly get out of the hard place and have good things come to me easily. Why would anyone listen to me or take me seriously? Shame on me for the dark places I've been to. No good could come from the spaces, and no good person could possibly see good in me. Shame on me. Unfortunately, shame on me, Sheila adamantly believes her past is a negative reflection on who she is in the present, which holds her back from creating a different, more desirable future. She so strongly believes other people will judge her based on past challenges that she's had to suffer through. Like, shame on me, Sheila. Do you believe your past is a present reflection of you? Do you believe that where you were is a reflection of who you are, and so you hesitate to put yourself out there to move forward because that person, that girl, that guy, you still see them? you still see their image. You still see the things that went wrong for them, and you're resistant to move forward because they were wronged, and you don't want to feel that way again. Shame on me, Sheila. Now, there's more to Shame on Me, Sheila. And I'm just going to jump ahead a little bit just so I can share the last part. I want to be able to share one more of these with you guys today, if that's okay. The last part here says, confronting your inner shame on me, Sheila, is something you need to do if feelings of shame are subconsciously crippling you to the point where you hold yourself back from doing the kind of things in your life that can move you forward. And that's certainly something we can do together. So I wanted to share with you some recommendations on how you can overcome feeling like a shame on me, Sheila, and they're inside of this guide here. But of course, the bigger picture is the Stop Procrastinating challenge. I have several personalities of types of people who are a pro at procrastinating, because I want to make sure that you can identify, you can become more self-aware of where you're holding yourself back so you can move forward. Who feels like they're holding yourself back right now? Feel free to let me know. Drop that into the comment box, number one. Number two, if you haven't already done so, complete the statement, I feel ... Identify how you're feeling right now when it comes to specific things that you know you should be doing, but you're not doing. You're confused, not because you don't know what to do, but you won't do what you know. And if you know there's something right now you should be doing and you're not doing it, we've got to be able to figure out how you feel and move forward. Really pick on, touch on, and identify and fix those deeper issues. So I talked to you guys today about Stuck Stella. I talked about Shame on Me, Sheila. There are a ton of personalities that I touch on as far as the Stop Procrastinating challenge. If somebody could drop that link in there for me, it's sistersense.com/SPC, which stands for Stop Procrastinating Challenge. Okay. I'll share one more of these with you guys, and then we'll move into the other side of the conversation, because today I wanted to do two things. I wanted to talk to you about how to stop procrastinating, because it's Two-Tip Tuesday, how to stop procrastinating and how to start profiting. So we're going to talk about start profiting in just a second. Let me share one more of these personalities with you. I said I was going to only share two, but I really feel called to share this with those of you who are interested. Easily distracted Denise. Every time Denise sits down to get things done, it feels like the universe is conspiring against her, throwing all types of unexpected distractions her way. Have you ever experienced a time when distractions took you away from important tasks that you have set out to do? Unbeknownst to Denise, possibly even you, I said unbeknownst, possibly even you. While these distractions are always unexpected, they can usually be avoided with the right strategies in place. If you find yourself easily distracted when you sit down to get work done, ask yourself the following questions. Number one, what is your work environment like? When you are working, is it easy for people to interrupt you? Is your workspace cluttered, cramped, or close to a high traffic area filled with noise, people, or things that tend to steal your attention at unwanted moments for long periods of time? Have you thought about what your ideal work environment would be? Is there a way for you to create or to go to a quiet space that you can work in for at least 30 minutes to an hour daily, or at least a few times a week? Confronting your inner easily distracted Denise is something you need to do if distractions are a real challenge for you. Who's easily distracted? Drop that into the comment box. If you are like distracted Denise, one of the recommendations I share here is to know that, which means you got to create a quiet space. You got to avoid distractions. I'm going to talk about my hubby for a minute, because my hubby, in all honesty, is my perfect person, okay? And one of the things that we can do is we can sit down and we can talk for hours and hours and hours. Now, if you're on my Facebook page, facebook.com/sistersense, you'll see that I recently reposted the most hilarious video. It's this guy, and he is in his office. I think there is Google on the screen. He's in his office, right? I don't know if you can see this. Let me actually turn off the ring light so I can show it to you because it's absolutely funny. Number one, I had to share it. Oh man, you still can't see it because of the glare. But all right, I'll read it. And you can check it out on the page as well. Number one, I had to share it. But then I'll tell you what I had to do, number two. So this guy is in his office and he's got something taped onto his back. It says, "Please don't talk to me. I have no self-control and I will talk to you for 2 hours and get no work done." Who is that? That is me when it comes to my hubby. As a matter of fact, he's off today and he just came into my office and he saw that I was about to hit record. He said, "You about to do a live, aren't you? All right, I'm out." He knows my non-negotiable space. He knows the get out of here face that I put on. He saw my ring light was on. He knew I was about to do a live. I'm on set. Everybody shut the hell up. I am on set, right? So this guy says he's got taped onto his back, "Please don't talk to me. I have no self-control and will talk to you for 2 hours and get no work done." That is me. That is me. So yesterday my hubby came in because he wanted to talk about, once again, because he's totally obsessed with this whole Popeye's chicken because he ain't getting no chicken sandwich yet, right? And he mad at me because we literally were in line for it. I think it was last week, Friday. And I was like, dude, this line is some kind of crazy. I bought my crab legs. I'm about to go home to eat my damn crab legs. I do not need Popeye's fried chicken right now. Me and my son got crab legs. He wanted to get the chicken. The line was crazy. We left, and ever since then, he's just been in a hissy fit. So he came in my office. I was working on stuff for my client because yesterday was a special day I designated for client work. And I said, "I need you to read this right here." So he read it. He looked at me, and he walked out. He said, "Only you?" I said, "Look, you know, once you start talking, I'm going to start listening. 2 hours will go, and that will be that. I understand today is your day off, but it's not mine. Exit stage left." You've got to be able to identify if you are easily distracted, how you can create a quiet space or how you can nip it in the bud. Before the conversation, I said, "I ain't trying to." I said, when he comes in, I said, "I love you, get out." I said, "I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you know we're going to sit here, and you know I have no self-control. And if it's the choice between doing work and talking to you, I'm always going to choose you. Get the hell out." Let's just make that just a point to just do that, right? So there are other easily distracted conversations, and there are other types of procrastinating pro personalities that I talk about inside. There are other procrastinating pro personalities that I talk about inside of this experience, and I just kind of wanted to make sure that you're aware of it. So number one, I said to you, if you would love to start the Stop Procrastinating Challenge, feel free to go over to sissensense.com/SPC, which stands for Stop Procrastinating Challenge. That's number one. Number two, if you want to get my quick guide on some things you can do to beat procrastination, that quick guide that I was reading, the How to Beat Procrastination Guide, is one of several that you get inside of the sissensense.com/GBBC Girl Boss Book Club. sissensense.com/GBBC Girl Boss Book Club. Okay. So Marilyn says, "Thanks for your help and direction. I am working through these roadblocks." Hey, Marilyn. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mary says, "Anxiety keeps me from going to or trying new things. It turns into depression and stops me completely." I totally understand that, Mary, which is why I want you guys to be in a place where you can identify how you're feeling. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So welcome to you guys joining me live. Hello on the replay side. Feel free to, guys, whether you're watching live or via the replay, to drop into the comment box. Okay. So let's quickly recap part one, and then we're going to dig into part two. The first part of this was to identify, are you procrastinating? Number one, create a knockout list. I want you to brain dump, finish the statement. Oh, shoot. I need to, I was going to, I've got to, ... right? You know, so finish that statement. I've got a ... What are some things that they keep coming up to your mind? You keep dismissing them. Make that short list Give yourself at least 30 minutes to 1 hour to knock out some stuff, okay? One of the things I talk about in the Stop Procrastination Challenge is to create what I like to call a knockout list and to work on WBT, work in background tasks, okay? That is number one. And number two, I talked to you about completing the statement, I feel ... When you think about some things you've been putting off, what comes up, what feelings come up? Because those deeper feelings may be connected to a deeper issue that's preventing you from moving forward. Sometimes in order to get the real good, we don't feel good, right? There are some things that we've got to power through to get through the good parts of being a business owner and an entrepreneur. And sometimes those things are easier said than done. So I want you to think about that as well, okay? So that's number one. Number two, if there's something that you're struggling with right now, feel free to either drop it into the comment box so you can share it with me. If there's something that you're struggling with right now, you just kind of want to speak it out into the universe so that you can start working towards moving out of that space. You can always email me as well, sistersense@gmail.com, if you want to talk about some things that you're struggling on. And again, my email is sistersense@gmail.com. So now that we've talked about two things that you can do to work on stop procrastinating, let's go into number two. What can you do to start profiting? Start profiting. Okay, so you see what I've done today? I jumped on here because it's Two Tools Tuesday, Two Tip Tuesday, however you want to say it, that's what it is for me. I jumped on here because there are certain days of the week that I do certain things, right? Tuesdays is a great day to share some tips and some tools. It's one of the things I talk about in my 7-day cash flow calendar. I've got a calendar. It's called my Position to Profit Planner. And in there is a 7-day calendar. On Tuesday, it's all about talking about tips and tools. So every single day of the week, I have some strategy around how to work towards those cash flow goals, okay? By the way, the cash flow goals, Position to Profit starter guide is inside of the Girl Boss Book Club bundle. Because like I said, there are 10 guides in there and there are 10 ebooks. You're going to get access to the cash flow goals starter guide in there as well. Make sure if you haven't already done so, you go over to sistersense.com/GBBC for Girl Boss Book Club. Okay, so the 5 ways to beat procrastination, that's in there as a guide. The cash flow starter goals, that starter is in there as well. So for me, when it comes to profiting, having specific days where I do certain things to work on my cash flow goals is important. Today, I'm sharing 2 tips with you, right? I'm sharing 2 tips. And by the way, these tips are connected to several of my offers. I always talk about CAC marketing. CAC for me stands around content around content, which means you're going to create free content around your paid content. Okay, so that's literally what I'm doing right now. I'm giving you 2 recommendations on how to stop procrastination, right? Hey, I have a 28-day Stop Procrastinating Challenge, sistersense.com/SPC. For me, it's not a chicken before the horse. Some of you guys, you create freebies or you give stuff away for free, and you do that before you ever create a product. Or you've got a product, but it's not quite done, it's not ready, it's not sellable, it's not available online. You want to sell more, you want to profit more, or you want to start to profit, make sure that your products are done, number one, and make sure, number two, you're giving people an opportunity to try before they buy. So I literally shared some of these Stop Procrastinating challenges with you to see if you can identify or relate to any of them. I shared some of the recommendations with you, like the knockout list, like the work in background tasks, or SST, simple task that you can start with, right? Super simple task. I shared some of those recommendations with you to take you inside of the Stop Procrastinating Challenge to see maybe if you haven't tried it, if that's a good fit for you, right? There's a CAC marketing strategy here. Content around content. When you have an opportunity to share, whether it be a live stream, an audio, a video, in written format, some form of content around the free content, around the paid content that you offer. You guys understanding what I'm saying? This is a Sister Sense signature strategy. It's called CAC marketing. CAC, content around content. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to give them 2. I want you to identify something that you want to sell this week, something that you want to share. You got a book, you got a course, you got a training. What do you want to sell? What do you want to teach? Who do you want to reach? Give them two. Give them an opportunity to try a little before they decide to buy more. Okay. So I'm going to give you a great example of this. This is my 3-hour workday routine, because we're talking about procrastination and we're talking about some things that you need to do to move forward. Right. So literally, I said to you, there's the Girl Boss Book Club. It's got 10 ebooks and 10 guides. This is one of the ebooks. Now, I'm going to share one of my recommendations that I love, and it's actually a great recommendation to connect to the distracted Denise conversation. Okay. This is called Special Rules. There are special things you need to have to work on 3-hour workday routines, 3-hour time block routines. So you're stopping this procrastination and you're getting more done in less time. Okay. So here's one of them: special rules. You should have your own special set of rules you agree to stick to in order to get more done. As a rule, about 90% of my calls are scheduled, so I have full control over my time and avoid interruptions as much as possible. For the most part, I work alone in my home office. As a rule, my family knows not to disturb me unless it's an emergency. And I turn off mobile alerts too for optimal focus. So when I'm working, alerts off. Most employers actually don't allow employees to use their phones at work because they are distracting. Ding, ding, ding. Think about how often you start working and then stop because of a mobile alert or someone talking or taking your attention away from desired tasks. Personal space boundaries affect your productivity. You'll get more done in less time if you set clear rules that give you non-negotiable, uninterrupted time blocks to work at full capacity. So here's my reality. There was somebody who wanted to talk to me a day or two ago, and I said, okay, first of all, let's get on my calendar. Let's use my conference line. I don't like people having my number because then they find they want to call me or text me all the time. That's a distraction, number one. And number two, get on my conference line so you can get on my calendar. So we've got a designated time to talk. No, I'm not giving you my cell phone number. No, I'm not jumping on a phone call with you right now, unless by the grace of God, the Spirit takes me. I'm a spiritual person. So sometimes I feel like that's a thing to do. But for the 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you, 90% of my time is scheduled. You got to get on my calendar, get on my conference line. No, you can have my cell phone number, right? And I want to just, in all honesty, ask you guys, how many of you do business and you give people your cell phone number or, your business card, that's your number, right? My cell phone is private. You cannot have that number because if everyone does, when do I have my quiet time? If everybody can access me that way, right? Just out of curiosity, how many of you, when you do business, you give people your cell phone number, right? That's just something to think about, number one. Number two, being in a space where you're very clear about your boundaries, right? So I said to you, there was somebody who reached out to me last week, wanted to work on a project together, asked me for a quote, gave them the quote, said, all right, it's going to be about $5,000. They said, okay, I'm ready to pay. I just need this, this, and this. And based on that, what they came back with, it wasn't a good fit for me. I have special rules. I have things that I follow in my business. And so I said, you know what? I get that you want to work with me. I truly appreciate your interest, but it's really not a good fit for me at this time, right? And that was it. It's okay to be in a place where you let go and you say no. It's not just because it's 5,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 or 50. Sometimes you have to say no. If it's not a good fit for you, if it doesn't work for you, if something doesn't feel right or smell right, sometimes it's okay to say no. Because let me tell you something. When you close a door of 5,000 that's not good for you, God's going to open up a door of 10,000 that's the right fit for you, of 15,000, of 50,000. Never find yourself in a place where you're so desperate for money. You test your judgment, your rules. You put your rules and your personal morals to the side because you're trying to make it work for you and you're trying to bring in some revenue. I never do that. The fact that I've been in business for the last 20 years, for me, it's most important to run my business with integrity. And it's most important for me to understand that I am the boss. So if I don't want to do a job or I don't like how this or that is going to run, I'm not going to run with it. Just plain and simple, right? So one of the things I talk about in this is special types of ... special types of days. Number one, there are 15 different special things in here. The last one being special rules. And I shared that with you. Okay. So just as a friendly reminder for those of you just jumping on here, when it comes to profit, the first thing that I challenge you to do is to identify a particular offer you're trying to sell. And it's Two Tools Tuesday. I encourage you to give them two really good nuggets from what you've got, whether it be a book. So I literally took some pages out the book, read the book, or a course, or I talked about the 28-day Stop Procrastinating challenge. I literally gave you some examples of things you could do as part of the challenge, right? Think about that. Give them two. That's one way you can work on profiting, okay, to start profiting this week. Number two on 2 ways to start profiting. The second one is we've got a holiday coming up, right? We've got a holiday coming up this weekend. Who's ready? Who already started their sale promotion? Who goes, wait, what holiday? What holiday we got coming up this weekend? What you talking about, right? I want you to make sure, if you want to start profiting, you got to make sure that you're consistently ready for revenue. And when them holiday sales come, you have something to sell. Who's got something to sell for the upcoming weekend holiday? Do you have something to sell? Do you know when the next holiday is coming up? Are you ready for the end of year holidays, right? The fourth quarter holidays. Are you ready for the new year holidays? Do you have something, right? You got to be ready. So you want to start profiting this week. Make sure that number one, you give them something, you take them inside something, you give them an opportunity to try it for free before they buy more. So give them 2. That was number one. And number 2, I said to you, are you ready for the sales? Are you ready for the holiday? Do you got some great sales that you've put together, right? Yes, you got to be ready to consistently sell. That's something that I want you to think about as well. Now, I talked about a few resources that I've got for you guys. You want to start profiting more. Ultimately, you got to share what you've got more. One of my favorite signature Sister Sense acronyms is always, write this down. If you've never heard me say it, you're in for a treat. Always have something to say, always have something to share, always have something to sell. A combination of the 3. Because if you always have something to say, but something to sell, you're not going to make any money. If you always have something to sell, but never something to say or share, you're just always selling at people and you don't add value to their lives, right? You got to do a combination of all of those. Think about it. I was actually looking at one of the ladies that I follow. She was featured in Essence. Essence was featuring women entrepreneurs. That feature that she did with Essence was actually sponsored by McDonald's, right? So you think about that. McDonald's, love them or hate them, beyond selling food, right? They do participate in different opportunities to sponsor different events, or they have different programs, right? Think about Disney. Disney has the Dreamers Academy for young kids. They've got their amusement parks. They've got their TV channel. They've got their radio shows, but they also have all of these other initiatives, right? So you've got to be in a space where you always have something to say, share, and sell. Because if you're just sharing other people's stuff, or you're just sharing information, but you're never selling, you're not making money. If you're always selling, but you're never adding value, people don't have a strong connection to you, right? So it has to be a combination of the 3. Always have something to say, always have something to share, always have something to sell. You can always come in here and feel free to turn on alerts and notifications, by the way, so when I'm live, you can see when I'm live. But you can always find some value, something to walk away from when I do a web class. But if you go, oh, I do want to get that ebook, I do want to start that challenge, there's always something for me to share for those who want to take the extra step and then go there. By the way, this ebook, the print ones are coming soon, but the 3-hour workday routine is one of several ebooks that I've got for you inside of my Sister Sense Girl Boss Book Club. 10 ebooks, 10 guides, 20 digital downloads, 20 for 20. Learn more about it at sistersense.com/GBBC, which stands for Girl Boss Book Club. Okay, so that's resource number 1, the Girl Boss Book Club. Number 2, I mentioned to you the Stop Procrastinating 28-day challenge. You literally can start it today. It goes for 28 days. Every day I share audios and recommendations on things that you can do to work on becoming a pro at productivity. So you stop becoming a procrastination pro and you start becoming a productivity pro. And you can learn more about the Stop Procrastination Challenge when you go over to suspense.com/SPC. So you see there, I shared 2 resources with you. My recommendation to those of you who want to start profiting this week or to continue profiting, make sure that you're ready for the holiday sale. Make sure that you give them to. Make sure that you always have something to say, always have something to share, always have something to sell. So, alrighty, my dears, feel free to let me know if you've got any questions as I'm wrapping up this live session for today. Feel free to drop those questions into the comment box. Thank you so much for transcribing and dropping those links in there. Mwah. I appreciate you for that. You can also feel free to share this out because, of course, sharing is what it's all about. So I'm going to be talking to a few of you, whether it be privately, inside of our VIP or Clarity Call days. Some of you I'm going to be talking to today because today I have my mastermind and we're talking about how to grow your social media following. So I'll see some of you later on today for the mastermind webinar and some of you this week inside of your private one-on-one clarity sessions with me. But of course, until then, I will see everybody right back here real soon for another fire session. And outside of what we talked about today, like I mentioned before, if you are struggling with some things and you do need some help and support, feel free to email suspense@gmail.com. My inbox is always crazy, but I always try to, as soon as I can, get back, connect, and follow up. So till next time, my dears, that's it for now. Take care.